Different from one another. Grab them, head them around.
She's like a no.
One's on the left hand, one's in the right
differences.
hand. It looks like you could stick something in it.
Yeah, so one's called an
Compression.
open tower and one is called a closed tower. So
Open tower, closed tower.
correct. Okay, so unless Alex does it differently, we've always only used closed towers when we've done it before. And the key, let me get my notes back up so I don't screw this up because this is the hard part. Yeah, so the key is that you have to hear this shake. If you don't hear it shaking and rattling, it's not going to connect on properly to your screws.
Shaky.
And then this should snap.
That's okay, they're
That's
both
right,
on
so
the
they're
same
both
thing.
open. So that means they're both ready to load onto screws. So this one, I was able to press on. You can still sort of make it look like they're connected to that screw, even if it's not making that shaking sound and even if it's not open all the way. That will really screw you over later in the case.
Oh, Jesus.
So make sure that thing shakes before you put it in.
Make sure it shakes.
Just shake it.
Shaky.
Well, if you lose the, it's not as bad with Alex's cases, but if you were going MIS, you can imagine going through a really small incision and losing a screw down by the spine. Maybe it's halfway down the pedicle and it snaps off the screwdriver. Then you've just totally messed things up because the whole purpose was to not disrupt the soft tissues. Now you're having to cut a bunch of soft tissue just to get your screw out. So you do not want to mess that up. So this comes in 3 pieces. This is your castle nut driver. That just clicks down, you can't mess that part up. This comes down onto here and it should remain up with that gap. If it's down all the way, that is only for removing this from the screw. That's the only time you have this down. Otherwise, it should be in that position, okay? So then you would come in, bring this down, and just keep turning until it completely bottoms out. Okay, now that's in, and you would just take,
And then it doesn't shake anymore.
it shouldn't,
Okay.
if it does,
That's how
then
you
it's
open it?
broken.
That's
Yeah,
how you open it?
that's how you lock this onto the screw,
Okay.
and then you just come in with your driver. There you go.
Okay.
And if the screw shank is dead straight like this, then you're good. It's not coming off until you use that thing again to remove the thing, to remove the tower. So then you'd put this in. This ratchets either forward, that would be backward, neutral, or forward. When you're doing it yourself, it's best to put this in a neutral position, and if you can remember, put it back to forward ratchet when you hand it up. So neutral position is best when you're doing all this stuff. Snap it over to forward ratchet when you hand it up. This is something I want everyone to practice. This is like the absolute key step. Setting up the table again is really not that hard. So to remove everything, this can come off the screw like that. This would be back in. You can use this block as well, probably advisable. It has 2 grooves on either side. It can kind of be hard to line up. It's actually lining up very easily right now. It's not always like that. And you can use this as well to just give you a little bit of extra counter torque. So again, to take these off, you put this in. Okay, it won't screw down because it's already locked in. Pop that down, and then counterclockwise.
Is this simplified from Viper, like the first Viper system? Because is this Viper 2?
The Matrix.
This is Viper 2. I never even saw Viper 1.
Okay.
So,
Because that seems really quick.
I think the
simple, and
pictures
I
I saw
struggle with
are
it
from
a lot.
Viper 1.
so this should start jumping. You can hear it when it's completely off, and then your screw should come off once it's jumping. So that was probably a pretty poor demonstration, but that's how it works. Shaking again, so it's all the way open. If in doubt, just give it more turns. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so we can get a few closed extensions if people want to practice. For the rest of it, it just moves to rods. Rods and caps are found in this little module. Does Alex use the measuring device? Yeah, so this would go down 2 of these towers in the patient and give you a measurement of how long your rod should be. This is the rod holder. So loading these guys up. Go on. So just make sure that's up. There's a little screw, oops, that comes in. The little flip-up tray. It's down in with the driver itself, and so the screw would go in the side. So it returns, goes into. And then it'll eventually, I think it torques out.
You get to that point and discover the screw's missing. How many screws?
There's a bunch, 6 or something
Is
in
that
there.
okay? Good.
Sometimes 4. Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
one of
Yeah,
those
it torques
nice-
out, and then that's ready. Once it's torqued out, you know it's ready to go. And this slides in through the towers, kind of between things here, and it will drop into the head. And then you'll put caps on to lock it in place. This is your cap driver. Now, this one won't torque out, but it's on very securely. And then these feed through here into the top of the rod and secures the rod onto the screw head. This is final tightening. So this would go on to here and act as your counter torque. Then this would come through the middle and click, click, click. You know that everything's tightened to the same tension. So that's that. The only thing, we use a different one. This looks like it's assembled correctly. This is your, I wonder if there's a little demo in here, because I don't know if I've ever seen this used. I've only seen it in the book.
Do we have a QR code for that video?
We have that in an email somewhere. I have it saved anyway.
Yeah.
That whole
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
I've got about 800,000
Yeah.
emails.
That's
It's
what I was
printed,
talking
though,
about,
too.
getting a shared folder
on the
together
scan.
with this stuff.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty helpful.
Like it's a printed
We do have
reminder.
QR codes set up
Yeah, I'm just
at
wondering if it's a
some
reminder,
places too.
yeah.
People
It
just want to
is.
scan their
Yeah.
phones over things, so
We've
that's,
been accumulating QR codes.
yeah. So as long as they're stored in a way that everyone can find them in
Yeah.
the shared folder,
Yeah.
then it should be fine. But yeah, this, to assemble it, the 2 black pieces go together. There is a silver button on here. Allows you to release, and then it would go on. This is in 2 parts as well, sorry. This goes up with the hex part going up, and then that would go on there. This just allows you to, and then this would go on the tower, I think.
So those towers stay
Yeah.
in until you're done, right?
That's right, and they come off at the very end. So this would go through here. I think you turn the bottom one to reduce the rod, and then you can come through once the rod's reduced, and then put your caps in and lock everything in place. Or actually, sorry, no, this does the whole thing. This goes on with and then you do that to reduce the rod, and then you can just turn, and this turns the actual screwdriver itself.
Without the tower?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, with the
Oh,
tower.
oh, okay.
Yeah, with the tower. So it's hard to balance everything at once, but yeah, this would go through. So rod would get pushed down into the screw head, and you would turn the screwdriver, and the screwdriver would get the cap engaged into the head, and then you'd come through the final tightening. All right, so come practice whatever you like, but certainly everyone should at least try